And welcome back, everyone. I do apologize. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the second ESL Masters qualifier here of the day. We had one just merely 5 to 6 hours ago, but now we are here with ESL SC2 Masters Summer 2023 Americas Open Qualifier number 1. I'm of course your host, Light VIP, and with me, for the last cast, I was joined by Yakuzaku. Today, I am joined by my lovely plushies. Will be solo casting for today, but yeah, we are here with the very first of the Americas qualifier. The first of many. There are of course 2 open qualifiers for every region: Americas, Asia, and Europe, and they are qualifiers for the closed qualifiers of ESL Masters, and then of course we will have the regionals taking place in a couple of weeks, in over a month, I believe. Oh boy, so yeah, it's gonna be a pretty intense, jam-packed weekend of StarCraft, back-to-back broadcasts. I was just telling some people in the chat that we just had ESL Asia. Now we have a NA. After this, we have KSL. Then we have the second Asia Open Qualifier. Then we have the NA Qualifier again. Then we have ESL Open Cup, the weekly tournament Asia. We have we have back-to-back broadcasts here over the weekend. Will we live? Will we make it through the entire thing? No, I hope so. Oh my god. We'll see how we do. As exclamation mark be the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. We have a pretty intense bracket. I was a little bit shocked to kind of come across this overall bracket here, and this first series is a banger as well. We have a bit of a TvT. I wish Asher was here, to be honest. I wish Asher was here to join me for this match, because this is the best of the best when it comes to Peruvian Terran, mate. Oh. We have Tavito going up against Smile, but a lot of really good players did sign up for today's qualifier. We have Uko, we have Eric, we have M. Canning, we have Eon, we have Cats. The names go on. White Idra is there as well. Let's go. For those wondering, the format is a little bit different this year. Last year there was the Americas region as well as the Latin American region, but they have since been combined for this year's season of ESL Masters. It is going to be Canada, America, and all of the Latin American countries combined here. So a larger region, more players. Oh boy, a more cutthroat tournament, as this is going to be a single elimination bracket, and top 4 players will qualify for the closed qualifiers. Let's go, Poppy, let's go. We are loading on into this lovely, beautiful Latin American TvT. Get some guys going in the chat, because spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Altitude, we have the Peruvian Terran player representing himself and all of the 2D people out there. He's a bit of a VTuber fan. It is Smile. I love it. There is a 2-minute delay on stream, by the way, but this is a bit of a meme. And spawning in at the top right-hand corner are the Uwus as well. Oh, let's go. We have the other Peruvian Terran, the purple Peruvian Terran player representing the Latin American Alliance, LCE. It is Tavo. Oh, quack, Fluffy, quack. Let's go. I don't think I can. Oh, I shouldn't. I can respond to them, but I shouldn't. You know, we're trying to be professional and all here. But for those who may not be aware of the meme, the reason why we have a point redemption for I do say it from time to time. Oh, hey. Este Smile. Ga is a Peruvian meme. It's kind of like a war cry. It's like a battle cry that kind of became popularized, I want to say around 2020, around 2020, 2019, 2020 era. And yeah, it is a battle cry for Peruvian players and Latin America in general. And as a result, we see both Tavo and Smile, of course, screaming their hearts out. And quacking a little bit as well. It's a little bit sad. The CranKy Ducklings, a lot of our roots do lie in Latin America. We used to have Latin American based casts. We used to cast every single Latin American tournament. Nowadays, they aren't anywhere near as common. You know, gone are the days of Sentimiento Latino, Copa Hyperion, Copa America, oh my god, the other events, El Prisma, La Espira. There have been so many Latin American events over the years, so many big ones. Rebirth was another big one. But alas, they have kind of come and gone by the wayside. But as a result, like, we do have a lot of loving fans, and we're really close with a lot of the players in Latin America as well, like your Tavo, your Smile, your White Hydra, the casters Horus, Romsley, Enki. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of love to be shared, and you know, that's why I'm going to be casting predominantly Latin American players here. We even our original pro team also had Latin American players: Neo, Eric, Ryu. Eric and Ryu are in today's bracket, by the way. And Tavo was almost a Duckling. Tavo was almost a CranKy Duckling as well. There is a story behind that, but before we get too ahead of ourselves, we can see similar openers in the sense that we did have double gas openers from both players, so relatively aggressive. We can see Reaper and Hellion production commencing for Tavo, but we're going to be cutting here at 3 Reapers and 1 Hellion. We're not going to be overproducing across the map. Tavo did go for a bit of a faster switch here, and he is kind of not really investing too much into those Hellions. He doesn't really care too much for map control. He's going to be very lax here with his Reapers, instead going into faster Cyclones and faster Marine production. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into a medevac here to go for a bit of an unorthodox drop. Oh, never mind though. We go straight for the Tech Lab instead. So with these Cyclones, we have better defensive play. Cyclones can help shut down Banshees, they can shut down Hellions and Reapers as well. They do have quite a lot of defensive capabilities. As the game goes on, these Cyclones do kind of, you know, they kind of expire a little bit. You know, they kind of have a bit of a lifespan to them in TvT, unless we commit to like Mass Cyclone with Magfield. I mean, that is also a thing, I guess. Kind of. But yeah, shout out to Migs Vindicta for his battle mech in TvT. But yeah, you know, we're just kind of securing ourselves before we get into tank production and Raven production as well. Both players are doing so. Just a little bit of a difference in the openers. And we can see Tavo trying to assert himself here on altitude. This is, of course, the largest map in the map pool. We're going to try and take it, or we're going to try and, again, get trade relatively well. And, ooh, a bit of a missed rally from Smile. 4 Marines are thrown away. So Smile just slipping up a little bit here. Overall, his opener was quite solid, but upon losing those Marines, we can maybe get some more damage done. I love this. Tavo, he gets some high ground vision. He's going to be able to take down this depot. Oh, he has to be careful not to overextend, though. We have a lock-on. We have 2 lock-ons, and ooh, we get the depot, but for the price of 2 Reapers. This will supply block Smile, though. There we go. He's forced to throw down a high yield depot there. A bit of a super depot, if you will. Not ideal here for Smile, as he was still supply blocked a little bit, but at least he was able to get something for it. At least he was able to pick up some Reapers. It's something. Tavo himself is getting a little bit supply blocked as well. As we get into this, because we're on a large map here, I wouldn't be surprised if one of our players whips out mech. Both players have done so in the past, and Tavo has kind of dabbled a little bit more into that mech as well. For those who are maybe old school fans of the Ducklings, if you remember, again, 2020, Tavo and his brother, his half brother, a Duckling, Neo, they debuted and they came hand in hand, and at the time we only had enough funds for one Peruvian Terran player, and we had to pick and choose between Tavo and Neo, and we went for Neo in the end. It was a little bit sad to break them up. They were both, well, they still are, I imagine, really good friends, but we ended up going for Neo instead. And yeah, if you remember, Tavo was the bio player at the time, Neo was the mech player. Neo was the evil twin. Good. But we see additional Raxes being thrown down, so Tavo is going to be playing bio tank, and meanwhile Smile is embracing the darkness. We do see 2 factories mech from our blue Terran. Oh, Lovely. Ay. Oh, also, my apologies. Sorry, I'll fix that. I was a little bit engrossed in what was going on, but I did have the wrong name here in game. It is Smile. It's okay. Nothing serious has happened yet, and it's look. I'm still waking up. Okay, I'm still waking up. It's 8 a.m. Oh god. But yeah, Rewhite was playing last night. I'll keep an eye on that. Make sure it doesn't happen again. As we do see Stim and +1 on the way for Tavo. He's going to be hitting a bit of a timing. For the time being, he's going to be just looking for map control. He takes down the Reapers here at the Xel'Naga Tower, but that was scouted by Smile, so he knows to kind of prepare himself here on the left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, the right-hand Xel'Naga is also covered by Smile, so he should be getting in position, and there we go. The tanks are sieging up. You'll love it to see it. We do see a bit of a scan here, trying to get eyes on the positioning of the army. As Smile sees that the army isn't here on the left-hand side, he's going to be rotating over towards the right. Instead, he has a spotted Marine, does confirm the army. So great scouting and vision here. Map presence from both of our players. Smile has been able to keep up for the most part. He should have seen the army moving, but oh, he's misreading this a little bit, and he's not in position. And here we go, the auto turrets are thrown down. Tavo is going to be able to siege up here. He does have the Viking air control as well. As I say that, Smile is moving in with the rest of his Vikings. He's going to be able to shut everything down. Not before losing his own Ravens, though. Both players trade Ravens for Ravens in the end. Smile still maintains that air superiority, but what about the Marines? What about the low ground? It looks like Smile has to lift up his third. Oof. And I love this Smile with that air superiority. We do see a Liberator on the way as well, and that will be forcing Tavo back. That will kind of just force him to turn around and go all the way back home. He's taking a fourth base behind this. The economy for Tavo is booming right now. But again, Smile, does he really care? I mean, he's playing mech. It's a slower style. Eventually he'll take a third. Eventually he'll take a fourth. Like, he's okay taking it slow from here. As we're just kind of waiting for the lib. We're just kind of staring each other down for the moment, and here we go. The Liberator will show up, and now with the arrival of the lib, Tavo should be getting out of here before losing too much. Oh, it looks like one tank is going to be going down. A second tank? Oh, a third? Oh, a little bit wasteful there from Tavo. A late reaction. 3 tanks, well worth it for Smile as he regains control of his third. At the same time, we have a double drop here on the right-hand side. Smile has not retaken control of this Xel'Naga. He now is, and oh, he will just barely catch this double drop. Oh. Smile's going to be able to rotate his tanks over as well. He's got his racks flying over here on the left-hand side. Tavo, meanwhile, is going to be taking his fourth, and this is typically how it goes here. The dynamic between bio and mech in TvT is that the bio player is going to have a lot more freedom, is going to have a lot more drop potential, and a lot more expansions, a greater economy, but their army is going to be less efficient. That's the downside here to this. So Smile, really, it's going to be on Tavo to try and find a chink in the armor and try and break Tavo before he maxes out. If Smile, oh God, these Peruvian Terrans. If Smile ever gets to a high enough supply to move out across the map, that is a terrifying thing here in TvT. The mech army can be devastating. So Tavo's going to be doing the best he can to kind of go for some drop play, try to slip into the natural, into the main, deny the fourth, do whatever he can. And Smile knows this, so he's turtling up. We have 3 turrets here on the way in the main. We've got some we've got some Vikings patrolling here at the natural. He's getting ready for the drop play, and Tavo is respecting him. He's not going for any drop play. He's going for these frontal pushes, which is a bold move. The tanks are getting into position once again, but you know what? They're a little bit late to siege, and Tavo, he's just stimming on forward. He's trying to get on top of these tanks, and it looks like he will. Where are the Hellions? Where is the buffer for this mech army? It's just pure tank Viking, and as a result, Tavo trades so well, almost resetting the tank count. Smile being punished here for not producing too many Hellions. Hellions are on the way now, but we needed them earlier. We need something to protect these tanks. Tanks, they do pack quite a punch, but on their own, they're not really too scary, to be honest. We need something to protect them from the Marines, from the Marauders. And going pure tank Viking like this is a very greedy, it's a very risky thing to do. And Smile, he's losing a lot of momentum trying to do this. I mean, he recognizes his folly, like he's going for these Hellions, he's going for more factories here to help out with his production. But he can't really take too much more of this, and he's also being spread thin. His tank count is already very low, and he's got tanks here on the right-hand side, he's got tanks on the left as well. If Tavo goes for another big push like that, then Smile, I don't think he can hold on. As Tavo is about to max out, we've got 3-3 on the horizon as well. Tavo, he's just been free to macro to his heart's content. He hasn't been harassed. There haven't been any Hellion run-bys. Or Smile tried to go for a Hellion run-by earlier, and it just didn't really do too much at all. It was caught out by a double drop in the end. But Tavo's backing off. It looks like he wants to wait for 3-3. I don't blame him, but he's maxed right now, and he's giving Smile the opportunity to come back in this game. He's giving him time to rebuild. We do have a couple of scans. The main army has been spotted. There we go. Smile is rotating his army over, and this time he will have a buffer for his tanks. There we go. Not too many Hellbats, but some Hellbats nonetheless. Thor is coming in to support as well. All these Vikings need to land. They're not doing anything. The Marines stim on 4. They get on top of the tanks once again, and it looks like Smile has overcommitted to the Viking production. He thought his opponent was going to try and vie for air control, but these Vikings just haven't really been doing much at all. They take down Medevacs, sure, that's great and all, but they're not doing much else here. Meanwhile, Tavo, he trades, he denies the third, expands, takes a 5th base from here because he can afford to, and Smile, I mean, at least he's expanding here to the right-hand side. You know, he's slowly taking another base. I hope he stops making Vikings. We have another Viking up, mate. We got it. How many do we have? We got 16. We got 16 Vikings, Papi. Well, it's okay. We don't need any more. Oh, smooch. Smooch indeed, as Liberators are coming out. To be fair, Tavo is making 4 Vikings at a time. Tavo is actually looking to try and take over that map, that air control. He wants to vie for that, wants to go into his own Viking battles and Liberator battles as well. We have the Fusion Core, we have Lib range on the way, we already have ship weapons as well in production. Oof. So we'll see how this all kind of comes to fruition here, as Smile is going to be able to reestablish himself on these 4 bases. It's going to take a while to resaturate, but he's, you know, slow and steady. Oh, that goes the mech. We do see Tavo rotating over towards the right-hand side. Very little vision here from Tavo. Tavo only has 3 tanks, so this position is a little bit vulnerable. His army isn't expecting Tavo to come from this angle, but at the same time, Tavo also doesn't have a lot of supply. Goes for a scan, sees how few tanks there are, and he is going to be able to siege up, and he does get seen, he does get caught, but a little bit late from Smile. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 turrets are going to be going down, but they're going to be buying some time, and it looks like, yeah, Smile is going to be able to clean this up. He takes down 2 of those tanks, forces Tavo back. Oof. And meanwhile, as all this has been going on, Smile's kind of mining out a little bit, but we have a 3-3 on the way. And again, Smile, his supply is slowly getting larger and larger. I was talking about this before, but a maxed out mech army is terrifying. And that's what we're getting to. We have a couple of scans being thrown down. Smile gets an idea of the economic situation. He sees all the bases that have been taken. And soon, Smile will be moving out on the map. He's got 17 tanks compared to the 6 of Tavo. That's a lot of tanks. Viking counts are looking pretty similar as well. Tavo has a slight Viking lead. His army has been scanned. There we go. The Vikings have been revealed. The mine shots are going to be going off. Oh my god. Do connect with those Liberators. Meanwhile, at the same time, we see a scan. The tanks are in position. The Vikings are coming in for a flank. The Liberators are not going to be able to support in the air battle. The Thor doing a lot of work as well, but the Liberation Zones take out a lot of the tanks on the high ground. And it looks like the ship upgrades. The Viking upgrades are just a little bit too good here for Tavo. With his better economy, he has the better upgrades. He takes control of the skies, and with that, his liberation zones, his freedom zones are going to be able to push Smile back, and that may just be it. Smile, it's got a lot of tanks, but tanks, they do not shoot up, and liberators shoot down. They're just the better tank in a way. They're just the better tank, and Smile's going to be going for a base trade. It's all he can do from this position. Tavo, he takes down the third, and he turns around. If he wanted to, he could try and break the natural. He could try and end the game and take control of the main, but no, he wants to play this out safely. I respect that. I don't fault him for that. That's the word that I was looking for. I don't fault him for this whatsoever. He wants to play it safe and sound. He doesn't want to play risky. He doesn't want to throw the game away, so he just deflects Smile here. Smile was able to buy some time and retake his third, but that large army that we saw earlier is just not there anymore for Smile. His tank count's still looking quite comparable to that of Tavo, but Tavo, he's going for some scans. He's trying to get an idea. Do you have any more bases? The answer is no. And here we go. Oh my, the splash damage from the lips. Oh god, that was crazy. They siege on up, and once again they take control of the ground. GG gets pulled, and Tavito will be taking game one. Oh. GG, well played. Oh, yeah. Pretty back, I say back and forth, you know, pretty by the book TvT between, you know, the mech and bio styles in the end. Tavo with the map control, Smile just trying to defend as best he could, and he was, but alas, that economy for Tavo does kind of come to fruition in different ways. It's not just a bigger army, it's a higher quality army in the sense that he was able to reinvest into his upgrades affecting and influencing his Vikings. So he was able to take control of the skies. Very smart move. Something that was scouted a little bit late from Smile, as he scanned the Viking count, but by the time that happened, it was already in his face. Oh. GG, well played. And yeah, we're just going to be looking to get into game number 2. A little bit too early, I think, to oh, there he is. Yo, let's go. I see him in the chat. I was just talking. I was telling a little bit of a story about Tavo and Neo, and I can see Neo there in the chat. Ah, oh, good to see you again, Papi. Good to see you. Ah, feels good, man. Feels good. Neo, of course, one of the original CranKy Ducklings, another Peruvian Terran player, and I've even casted alongside Neo as well. Oh. Oh my god, no bias. Aye. Here we go, as we're going to be getting into our next game. Game number 2 is going to be taking place on Gresvan. Uwu. Are you guys Uwuers or Owoers? Oh god, I can't even, man. Letting them know. There's never too much StarCraft. Hello, Rowbags. I see you. Slow Iran in the chat. Oz Guitar. Bienvenidos. Ah. Torneo de TvT, 50 soles a premio, yo, let's go. Promoting TvT tournaments. But here we go, we are going to be getting into this here, and yeah, nice little lead here for Tavo. I do consider him to be the favorite overall in this series, but we'll see if we get a more dynamic back and forth matchup. As spawning in the top left hand corner of Gresvan, we have the Peruvian Terran player representing Team Latin American Alliance. It is Tavo. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gresvan, we have his opponent. We have the Peruvian Terran player, representing himself and all of the 2D waifus out there. It is Smile. Here we go. And I'm curious here, as we get into game 2, whether or not Smile is going to be embracing that mech once again. He had a bit of a hard time in game number 1. And you know what? I got to attribute that a little bit to Neo. Neo in the chat. I mentioned it earlier, but of course, he and Tavo are good friends, and Neo was the mech to Tavo's bio, and as a result, I'm sure they have played and practiced many, many times together. Tavo, mate, he's ready for the mech, Papi. He's ready for it. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. So, yeah, I do look forward to seeing here what both players have to offer. Smile, again, he's not a one-trick pony. He's actually one of the many Terran players under the influence of Euthermal, and he has a lot of cheeky builds up his sleeve as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he does something a little bit different this game, especially because I kind of briefly mentioned it earlier, but this is a single elimination bracket. Top 4 qualify, but there is no lower bracket. It is very cutthroat here. One more loss and Smile is out of the qualifier. He's gonna have to come back tomorrow for another chance to make it to the closed qualifiers. Oh. And Smile has made it to the closed qualifiers before, but for the Latin American region, and this is a new and improved combined Americas. So the competition is a little bit harder, it's a little bit tougher, and I do wish them both the best. In an ideal world, both Tavo and Smile can make it on through. Do we have enough slots though? Because Eric and Ryu are also in the bracket, and I'm a little bit biased. I want them both to do well. I want them both to advance. Two of my favorite sons out there. I love all my sons, except for Sarduck. But, you know, I have a soft spot for both Eric and Ryu. So I wish them all the best here. As we're getting into this, once again, we do have double gas openers from both players. We're going to be prioritizing a Hellion and Reaper production, once again, from the side of Tavo. Smile, though, is going to be transitioning earlier with that reactor, with that tech lab. It is a little bit risky because he has a lot less map control early on. He only has 2 Reapers, but he gets a delay on the CC. He picks up an SCV, and he's even able to avoid the units of Tavo. As he comes back in, he can get it again. Up. Wow, Tavo, he was duped. He was jived. He wasn't in position. He even loses a Reaper across the map as well. Finally, Smile is going to be forced back, but yeah, well worth it here for his 2 Reapers, especially because he doesn't really care about his Reaper production. He's done with that. He's going into Marines and Cyclones. So very nice moves, very cheeky moves here from Smile, able to slow down the economy of Tavo as both players are going to be getting into their 1-1-1 openers. Similar to last game, I imagine Smile's going to be prioritizing that Raven as, Tavo is going for a very early medevac. We're going to be seeing a drop coming across the map here from Tavo. This is very risky because you are going to be delaying your own Raven production, and Ravens are king in TvT. Ravens, they can make up for a tank deficit. They can give you a tank advantage as well with your disables. You have your auto turrets, you have your anti-armor missiles. Ravens are just the soul of early game TvT. But Tavo will get there eventually, but before that happens, is going across the map with that drop. He wants to try and deal some early economic damage, and I think this is a good way to maybe abuse Smile with his small amount of Marines. But now we have a tank on the low ground, we have our Cyclones on the high ground, we have the Raven coming out. We'll see if Tavo can break this. He does get a lock-on on that tank. The goal here is to try to pick it off, and with that lock-on, it looks like he may. Oh my god. Hot pick up there. Oh, can he escape? Oh my god, he just barely will escape with 2 Marines and a Cyclone. But was that worth it in the end? Because now he's triggering a counterattack. He threw away so many units for 1 tank. Meanwhile, back at home, he's got his own tank to defend, his own Raven as well. Smile is making his way across the map though with 2 of these Cyclones. He can get a lock on the opposing tank. Maybe even the Raven of Tavo. sure he'd be happy with either unit, so he's getting ready to dive on in. Before that happens, Tavo is actually coming back in with he's crazy. Okay, there we go. Oh my god, he's gonna be boosting back on home. Smile, he tests the water, he pokes and he prods, but he doesn't want to commit. Despite pushing out across the map, it looks like he will not be looking to engage with the defensive position of Tavo. So after all said and done, Tavo lost very little in comparison. He lost some Marines, he lost map control, and I thought he wouldn't have his units back at home in time to defend, but he was able to get a tank in the end, which is a very high quality unit. Meanwhile, at the same time, no, look on! No! Oh! The first Raven of Smile goes down. He does get a Cyclone, but this is well worth it for Tavo as well. A little bit of miscontrol from Smile to come on in. Tavo was waiting for him as he came back home with his Cyclone. Oh boy, and this is dangerous. Now Tavo has the Raven advantage. He's moving out across the map. We can see Smile trying to take his third base here. Gonna be landing it soon. Oh my god, same time. Oh, the lock-ons! Up! Oh my god! 2 tanks! Just like that, as Tavo was in the midst of moving out, 2 tanks go down, and any kind of momentum that Tavo once had is gone at this point. Smile with some sick moves. Oh. To lose 2 tanks in such a fashion. We do have that drop going across the map. Stim still not quite done yet. A couple of seconds away from... Actually, it could finish in time for this drop, to be fair. Tavo may just wait for that moment. This tank is looking a little bit vulnerable here. We do have the majority of the army of Smile out on the map. But Smile's looking to take control of this third base location. Tavo doesn't really have the tank count anymore. The CC is going to be taking a lot of hits. Oh my god, it's just going to go down. CC falls at the same time. We do have that drop into the natural base. We have a defensive tank. He tries to dive on top of it. Oh, can he unload? He gets most of the Marines out, but he will lose 2 of them and the medevac. He will get the tank in the end. No, oh, the repairs. The repair is just too damn good. The tank doesn't go down. And Tavo, he is having a hard time here in game number 2. He lost his third CC, he's losing his tanks, he lost his drop, he didn't really get anything. He weakened a lot of SCVs, but there were no kills. There were no kills on these workers or on the tank. Oh my god, we even have a double drop that may even get scattered by this Rax. Yeah, Tavo, he is up against the wall right now, and as he goes for the double drop, yes, the Rax is going to spot this. The Vikings are getting into position, and thankfully Tavo will respect the scout. He will back off. He won't quite commit here, just regrouping with the rest of his army. You can see Tavo down in Vikings, down in tanks, ahead in Ravens, to be fair. He's going to try and work his way through these rocks. Does get confirmed by Smile's going to be able to rotate over with his own tanks, and Tavo will not find a way in here. As we still don't have a third CC, it had to be rebuilt as well. Tavo just getting further and further behind. Just being overly aggressive, maybe feeling a little bit confident and a little bit too cocky after game number 1. After Tavo got a lead in this series, and now it is going to bite him here. It is going to hurt him. Oh, there we go. Sensor Tower at least is going to be going down, and Tavo, I mean, I like that he's being assertive here. He needs to be honest. Like, he needs to be in the face of Smile. Needs to make sure that Smile doesn't have an easy time just kind of cruising in this game. Picking up a tank here and there. Marines are coming to reinforce whatever he can get. Oh, we get a lock-on a Raven. Tavo's going to be able to pull back in time. And as this is happening, Tavo is slowly catching back up. You know, he's slowly taking control of his third base. We do see another disable on another tank. And once again, Tavo, he's just shaving off that tank count one at a time. Slowly trading a little bit more efficiently. Honestly, it's really technical play here as... Oh, he flies too close to the sun. That disable was 1 second too late. He will be able to get one more tank, maybe a second tank. Oh, at the same time, though, we have a Liberator. One Liberator across the map. Tavo was doing such a great job, but you know what? It's not one, it's 2 Liberators. One in the main, one in the third. 17 SCVs go down. Ah, brutal. Deliberator is still alive. Like Tavo, like this is so nice. He's just pulling Smile apart here with this technical play, and here we go. He pulls the trigger. He's just going to try and dive on top of this army. The Marines, they still on forward, but there's still so many tanks left. Too many tanks. The army of Tavo crumbles. GG is called, and Smile will take game number 2, tying up the series. Oh, GG. Tavo's hand was forced there. His economy was just on fire, in shambles. And this series could really go either way. I do think that the biggest takeaway from game number 2, for at least Tavo's side of things, is just to calm down. I'm sure he wants to try and he was overly aggressive this game, and he was kind of paying the price for it, right? We saw him lose a lot of drops. We saw him kind of just not trade too efficiently early on and fall behind as a result. I do imagine he's going to be playing a little bit more safely here in game number 3. We'll see. We'll see. We're going to be getting into this, as game 3 is going to be taking place on Dragon Scales. Okay. Just quickly trying to catch up in the chat as to what has been going on. Oh my god. These up and coming rounds are going to be pretty big here. I also didn't realize I left myself into the TvT section of the bracket. It's Smile versus Tavo up against most likely Yanji after this. So another TvT winner should be going up against Eric. Meanwhile, below us, Masa going up, or will eventually go up against Ryu, I imagine. So that's going to be a really sick ZVT. We're spoiled, Papi. We're spoiled. There's so much to cast. So much to cast. Players like BioIce, Foxer, Rocker, Theory, Rob, Uko. Terran, yo, Terran is here. Maze, I didn't even see him. Yo, I would love to see Terran versus Uko. That'd be so sick. Masters here. Zero. Cuddle Bear. Oh my god, I haven't seen Cuddle Bear in a long time. Very long time. But yeah, we'll go over the brackets once we wrap up this series. We can go over it a little bit more in depth as to what has been going on, and maybe even some predictions. Oh, we have the technology. Oh, I apologize. We can show the score out of game. Oh, it's crazy. There we go, mate. There we go. Just fiddling around with some new tools. Shout out to Kuro, by the way, for updating that. We love to see it. Do appreciate it. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of a Dragon Scales. We have let's go. In the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the Peruvian Terran player representing the Latin American Alliance. It is Tavo. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have his opponent. We have the other Peruvian Terran player representing himself, as well as all the VTubers out there. It is Smile. Let's go, Papi, let's go. But yes, recently, when I say recently, I mean this is the first broadcast where we can actually show the scores out of game. So shout out to Kerr for making that happen. Meanwhile, yo, 100 bits in the chat by C Grail. Thank you, Papi. Thank you. Do appreciate the support. And I'm sure, and I hope you're having a good time. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast here, as this is still merely the first series of the night. This could go either way, Tavo or Smile. Who's it gonna be? Again, I do personally feel like Tavo just needs to calm down a little bit. He was doing so well for himself in game number 1, but game 2, trying to be a little bit more aggressive and fancy in the early game, just did not work out for him. But we'll see. See how this all comes to fruition. Once again, double gas openers all around. It is the much more common way to play out a TvT. It can be sometimes a little bit risky to go for single gas openers for Rax expands, but it does happen from time to time, especially amongst the Koreans. Oh. And we shall see how this goes. As personally, I'm a little bit surprised that this entire series, no proxies, no Raxes out on the map. As I say that, Smile is going to be looking. He doesn't want to get done dirty in the ace match. So with this initial Reaper, he's going to be looking around for any kind of proxies that Tavo may have out on the map. Just being safe, just being safe. As this is the more common kind of location and area for proxy Raxes. Meanwhile, safer play here from Smile once again. He goes for a CC on the high ground once again to Reaper into that reactor factory, straight into a tech lab as well. He's been going for the overall same opening game after game after game. It seems to be his go-to here in TvT. Oh, across the map, Tavo is switching things up here. For the first time, he's not investing in Hellions. He is stopping Reaper production as well on 2 here, going into that reactor, going into that factory. So actually, he had a pretty similar opener last game, to be fair. Very similar in game number 2, except I believe he did make 1 Hellion in the end. So yeah, also going to be kind of varying up his opener, getting into a much faster tank as well. Oh. And with this very fast tank, are we getting a 2-base all in? I just realized that is not a starport. It's a bit of a 2-1-1 opener. Oh my god. Something you don't see too often in TvT. At all. But yeah, the Marines are going to be produced here. We're soon going to be having I imagine a stim timing. I imagine it's going to be a starport next, not a 3rd Rax. But yeah, you don't see this too often. Oh my god. There we go, there's the starport. So we're going to be going for a bit of a stim medevac timing. This can be a bit of a risky move. This is very unorthodox in TvT, the 2-1-1, but we do see it from time to time. Now, what this does do is it does leave you a little bit vulnerable. We were talking about the importance of Ravens in this matchup earlier, and if this drop falls on its face, then the lack of Ravens, because we're going to be making a medevac first, can really hurt us. There's going to be a lot of onus and a lot of pressure for Tavo to actually make this drop worth it, and to actually get damage done. There we go, we're seeing that add-on swap here with the reactor and the factory. We're going to be getting 2 medevacs coming out at once. And this has a lot of potential, definitely. You know, we can get into the main, we can get a lot of SCV damage, we can maybe try to dive on top of a tank as well. Oh boy. We'll see how this all kind of comes together here. I'm excited. It's cool to see Tavo just varying things up to such an extreme as well. But oh my god, the Reaper gets in. Oh, and the entire opener gets scattered. He doesn't see the second rack, so he doesn't have confirmation, but like looking at this setup, like he should be able to piece together. Yeah, especially with the reactor on the starport, the 2-1-1 drop is going to be zooming across the map, and Smile should be getting into position. There we go. He does have his Cyclones covering his tank in his main. Cyclones with a tank in the main. He's got his Ravens and a tank here at the natural as well. Tavo, what angle is he going to go into? Looks like he's making a beeline for the natural base. The tank does on siege. Getting into a more defensible position here. Going to be able to react a little bit faster. Smile, he's just getting ready for this push. We get the disables as well. Oh my god. The 2-1-1 timing is going to be deflected. It doesn't do any damage. And this is a bit of a rough start for Tavo. At least he didn't lose too much. He lost like a handful of Marines and that's it. You know, he kept his medevacs alive. He kept his Marines alive. He can utilize this all for a bit of a later timing. Oh. But yeah, Smile, honestly a really great scout. Like, for that Reaper to slip into the main was pretty huge, to be honest, and now he should be feeling pretty safe and pretty good about himself. We can see just a greater defensive line here. 2 tanks, Marines on patrol, Vikings as well. We have Marines here on the low ground, a second tank. Like, Smile is taking his defense very seriously. Now he goes for a scan, confirming that we do have a third CC on the way. Tavo moving out with his tanks with the rest of his Marines. Oh boy. And again, these Marines, he's got a lot of them and they pack quite a punch here. He's got stim, he's got combat shields. He can maybe try and dive into the natural. These tanks are unsieged. Oh my god. There is an opportunity for Tavo. Oh, he goes for a scan. He does see that tanks are waiting for him in the main. He doesn't want to go for it. It looks like he's going to be waiting for the third CC to be taken. I like this very patient play out of Tavo. He confirms that the third is on the way. He sees the tanks, and there we go. He's diving. He stims on forward. He wants these tanks desperately here. They are unsieged, but it looks like he will not be able to catch them. Quick reactions out of Smile to pull back when he did. Hasn't lost a single tank, not yet, and yeah, now he knows about the army positioning here. He's gonna be able to safely expand and take this third. Oh, he does unsiege though. Oh, a bit of a questionable move, but there we go. We have the disables on 2 of the tanks of Tavo, and he's gonna be losing everything here. Ay, ay, ay. The Marines, the tanks, and the medevacs. The power of the Raven. Raven's just disabled everything, but here we go. We have a second wave. We're gonna need to land these Vikings here, and there we go. They are being landed, and Tavo gets a tank, but only a single tank. His entire army crumbles here, not really trading too well at all. He lost 43 Marines. 43 Marines for 2 tanks. And he did reset the Raven count, I guess. He did get all the Ravens, which is nice. Meanwhile, we have a 4th base on location for Tavo. He knows how desperate the situation is. He knows he needs to try and get a bit of an advantage, but the Vikings are across the map, the tanks as well, and Tavo just doesn't have an army. He doesn't have anything else left. He's gonna try and drop on top of this, try and cause a little bit of friendly fire, and he will. But GG, well played, gets called. Suerte, papu. Wishing Smile the best of luck as Smile takes the series at 2-1. GG, well played. Oh. My heart bleeds a little bit, you know. I've got a lot of love in my heart for Ome Tavito, but also some love for Smile as well. It's brutal to see one of them fall, but that is the way of things. One must fall so the other can rise, and Smile will be advancing on to the next round. Tavo will be eliminated from today's qualifier. His run does end here, so my condolences to Tavo, but I'm sure he'll be returning tomorrow in qualifier number 2, as there are 2 open qualifiers for the Americas region, so he will have another chance. Again, shout out and congratulations to Smile as he advances on through. Oh, there you see. Oh, look at that with the score as well. It's crazy. GG, very well played. And from here, it is time to have a look at the bracket.